Thank you, Sir King, for that very informative discussion. So, Sir Angelo and Sir King already gave us an overview of the books written by Paul Colliers, The Bottom Billion in 2007 and Left Behind in 2024, which significantly addresses global inequality and development. So now, we will compare the two books and how they differ in their focus, core problem, key causes, and challenge nature. So first is the primary focus. So in the bottom billion, they focuses on the world's 50 poorest countries, particularly in Africa and Central Asia. So at the time of its publication in 2007, Paul Collier's The Bottom Billion highlighted the group of roughly 58 nations, primarily in Africa and Central Asia, that were notably stagnant economically and increasingly lagging behind the rest of the world. So these countries, collectively home to about a billion people, were the core focus of his analysis due to their persistent failure to achieve growth. So while he deliberately avoided providing a definite list in the book in order to prevent stigmatization, he characterizes this nation as being primarily located in sub-Saharan Africa. A vast majority of bottom billion countries are indeed found in this region, facing a multitude of interconnected challenges. So, he also includes countries in Central Asia and other regions. Collier also pointed to nations in landlocked Central Asia, as well as some countries in other parts of the world like Haiti, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Cambodia, which shared similar characteristics of persistent poverty and stagnation. In Left Behind, they focuses on the neglected places globally, including within wealthy nations. So in Left Behind, Paul Collier expands his focus beyond just world's poorest countries to examine neglected places within all types of nations, including the wealthy ones. So these neglected places are communities or regions that, despite being part of an otherwise prosperous country, have experienced economic stagnation, decline, and often a corresponding social and psychological malaise. They are left behind by the general progress and prosperity enjoyed by the other parts of their nation, particularly thriving urban centers and knowledge-based economies. So example of such places, as Collier discussed in his books, includes the deindustrialized towns, so regions that historically relied on industries like manufacturing, mining, or heavy industry, but have suffered from their decline due to globalization, technological shift, or policy choices. So for instance, he points the areas like South Yorkshire in England, which is once an industrial powerhouse and now facing a significant challenge because of the technological shift. So wala sila sabay sa panahon. So he also included struggling rural areas, so agricultural regions or small towns that have seen their economic base erode, often due to population outmigration, lack of investment, and limited access to opportunities. The next would be its core problem and key causes. So in bottom billion, the core problem is they are caught in four traps preventing them to grow. So as discussed a while ago by Sir Angelo, in the bottom billion, Paul Collier's identify four interconnected traps that prevent the world's poorest countries from developing. So first is the conflict trap, where civil war and instability destroy progress and perpetuate fragility. Second is the natural resource trap, which explained why resource-rich nations often suffer from corruption, a lack of government accountability, and competitive non-resource sectors and conflict over wealth. The third is the landlocked with bad neighbors trap. So it highlights how poor, conflict-ridden, or infrastructurally deficient neighbors hinder a landlocked country's trade and growth. So the last one is the bad governance in a small country is particularly devastating as a small, vulnerable country struggle to attract investment and implement effective policies when governance is weak or corrupt. So he stresses that these traps often reinforce each other, making escape difficult without significant international intervention and internal reforms. In Left Behind, Paul Collier argues that market fundamentalism and centralized policies cause inequality and despair. So they are the key drivers of inequality and despair that's seen in neglected places across the globe, including within the wealthy nation. So he argues that uncritical belief in free markets prioritizing profit over social well-being allows wealth to concentrate in urban centers, so abandoning other regions like the deindustrialized towns. Also, the overly centralized government decision-making leads to generic one-size-fits-all policies that ignore unique local needs, disempower communities, and erode local capacity, fostering resentment. So, Collier concludes that this combination, which is the market fundamentalism and centralized policies, creates a cycle of inequality and distrust, advocating instead of pragmatic, place-based solution driven by local leadership, community involvement, and shared moral obligation. The next would be the challenge nature. So in Bottom Billion, its challenge nature is the distinct development issue for specific poor nation that needs external intervention. So in Bottom Billion, Paul Collier contends that the 58 poorest countries, unlike other developing nations, face unique and severe challenges rooted in traps like the conflict, the resource dependency, problematic neighbors, and poor governance, rendering conventional development aid ineffective. So their problems are not just about the lack of resources or capital, but about being caught in the traps. So their issues are distinct from the general development challenges and they need external intervention. So given the nature of these traps, Collier strongly agrees and advocates for significant untargeted external intervention from the international community. He argues that these countries often lack the internal capacity, stability, or institutional strength to break free from these traps on their own. So therefore, he proposes a range of external actions. So in Left Behind, he addresses a pervasive societal and economic divergence occurring both within wealthy nations and within poor countries. So this divergence is not just economic, but also leads to increased inequality, social fragmentation, political polarization, and brain drain, as discussed by Sir King a while ago. So Collier blames this broader divide on failed market fundamentalism and centralized governance, advocating for a new economics based on a place-based solution, local empowerment, and the restoration of community and shared ethics. So this is the summary of comparative insight of the both books. So if I were to relate this to the Philippines, if you happen to see Cara David's documentaries, so it often highlights this very divergence within the Philippines. So the Philippines is developing but unevenly. So we are developing as a whole, but the development is far from uniform. So developing, so areas like Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and or even rapidly growing cities like again the Oro, Davao. So if you happen to see Carlos David documentaries, we'll be able to discover that there are places in the Philippines that are far from developed. So these places includes the remote or rural areas, so they are geographically isolated with limited access to roads, electricity, and clean water. So provinces like Tawi-Tawi, Romblon, Catanduanes, and other parts of Palawan, especially its southern reaches. So they often suffer from poor connectivity, so they have limited roads, unreliable shipping, lack of air access, so making it difficult to transport goods, attract investment, and access markets. So basic services are often scarce. So also in her documentaries, there are regions that are they are conflict affected regions. So areas in Mindanao or other parts of the countries that have suffered from prolonged conflict, hindering development and leading to displacement like Hulusulu, Tawi-Tawi, so the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or the BARM, as mentioned a while ago by Sir King. So, historically plagued by armed conflict, political instability, and underinvested investment. So, this has severely hampered economic development, infrastructure, and access to basic services like education and healthcare. So, poverty incidence is significantly higher than the national average. So, areas like the Sulu and Basilan within Barn are particularly vulnerable. So, there are also region dependent on declining industries. So, these communities whose livelihoods relied heavily on unstable practices or industries that have dwindled with no clear alternative. So, katong mga regions nga rely lang sila sa isa ka livelihood. So, if ever mag-fail siya, wala sila other alternative solution. So, ang way lang yun is survival lang yun siya. So, there are also areas prone to natural disasters. So, repeatedly hit by typhoons, floods, or earthquakes which constantly set back any development gain. So, katong mga areas nga prone to floods, nga bisag unsaon o kuan, survival lang gid ang gakahitabo. So, it shows us that through real people and places, how some parts of the Philippines develop well, while others get left behind. So, the hoping that unta as a whole nation, kung sa DepEd pa, no learners left behind. Also in the development, unta there are no regions or there are no places left behind sa Philippines. So, the next topic will be reported by Ms. Rachel Galasanay, the effectiveness of policy recommendation proposed in both books. So, thank you for listening and good morning once again.